take it away from them.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some kind of counter they're thinking of. I think Gen.G are going to go Rise into it, so DRX are not even picking the Sylas. I'm so surprised because right now, Zeka is 6-0 on Sylas at Worlds. It's his best champion by a mile, but I think they're scared of Rise, you know? I think they're scared of picking Sylas blind and running into it. There's the Rise. Yeah, they were really worried about it, so good read by DRX to then counter the Rise with something else. They didn't fall into Gen.G's trap. They've gone for the Kindred though, and I think Gen.G were teasing the Rise. No, they're just gonna insta-lock it. There's the Rise, Renekton. Gen.G have recognized what the problem is. It's topside. Yes, you can get a small CS lead in bottom focus down there, but they need something to fight back with on this top side. Rise, Renekton is their answer. And now what is Zeka's answer to the Rise?
Debating what will the option be here. Letting the timer tick down. Letting mid lane go through.
Yeah.
Opting for the Gragas, opting for the safe topside matchup, trying to mitigate some of the potential power that could be present there.
Smart. Yeah, there's loads of picks into Rise. You know, you can go from mages like Azir and Victor to assassins like LeBlanc, even team fighters like Lissandra. Adaptation here from DRX, a takeaway. Aphelios going to start targeting Ruler a little bit. And we expect Gen.G to ban away those mid laners. Varus Karma would be an easy 4 pick here for Beryl. There's the Renata, so I expect double ban to support them. We'll have to see what they have planned, but it's on Zeka. The amount he's done this series so far for his team. Going back to a control mage is not the style that I think DRX want to play or even we want to see.
Certainly, and he and Pioshik were what defined that third game. Pioshik now once again on comfort, opting for the Kindred over something for Zeka. So it is on him once again to dig deep into the champion pool to show us more as more and more safe scaling. Late game 80 carries are taken off the board. Maybe this time around, DRX want to press their advantage on the bottom side, want to try their hand at dominating the bot lane, but that is a tall task in the face of Ruler and Lehen, regardless of the champions.
I wonder what bot lane they're thinking of here. They have taken away the Karma. They could go many directions right now. They could go really aggressive. They could go for some kind of... The craziest thing they could go for, of course, something like Samira Nautilus, right? But you expect them to play a bit more tamed. Ezreal would work into the Varus again. Xayah is another one that could be an option. Jhin as well, but is that going to be Zeka's Galio? Taking a page out of Faker's book. Trying to match global with global. Have the Galio ult on top of the Realm Warp to match the side lane plays. Xayah Rakan would be dangerous for DRX to deal with, but they have got counter pick support. They can go Varus Tum. They could even go for some kind of engaged support like Leona Nord to match into the Rakan, but I think Xayah is a very smart pick into the melee champions that DRX have so far, given the options that Ruler has. You can always ult the Varus ult. I'm a fan.
And definitely you can see the Gen.G are finally ready to fight fire with fire. They're not worried anymore about playing clean, about playing precise. They have the tools needed to skirmish, to fight back in the early to mid game. They will not make the same mistakes they did in the draft in game 3. Final pick here for Lehens. The linchpin to this draft. The Nautilus now locked in.
That's surprising that they go for Nautilus because Beryl has a lot of options now. Tom Kench would do really well in the lane. Braum would do really well in shutting down the champions they have. I think Braum is actually an incredible pick here with double 80 carry into Renekton, Rise, Viego, Nautilus. A lot of short range. It's such a good pick. Can always E the feathers coming back as well. So I think this was a surprising Nautilus pick. Can be countered really easily by Beryl. A lot of different changes here from DRX, especially in the mid lane, but sticking to a similar kind of concept of the double 80 carry, the tank top, and Beryl now on this Braum.
Well called on the Braum pick, Cadril. Excellent read on the situation. Of course, the potential for stuns, the ability to mitigate so much what the Rise and the Xayah want to do in a front two backs team fight, as well as empowering the level 1. We'll see if DRX want to go for anything. Braum, one of the strongest level 1s in the game. And Gen.G, again, finally ready to fight fire with fire. So many skirmishing tools that they can look to leverage, but for the first time in this series, we are not looking to Zeka. We are looking towards Deft, we are looking towards Pioshik as the dual carries on this lineup to bring it home for DRX.
The solo lane duo, the brothers in arms, the best friends in Kingen and Zeka are no longer the carries, they are the supporters. They are there to help Deft get ahead, and don't get ahead. The longer the game goes against Braum, Varus, Kindred, they run out of gas, they run out of steam to actually get the backline down. So Chovy needs to get the ball rolling in this game, get Zeka under his tower, but Zeka's running Predator, and he's going to try to match these Ghost Realm Warp roams with his Global and his Keystone.
And you can see Zeka identifying it's not about him versus Chovy. It's about getting his lanes ahead. We're gonna have to see him show us more again. We've seen what he can do. We can see him solo carry, but now he needs to support and get the rest of the team. DRX have the luxury. They can't afford to lose one more. They can also close it out here, and for Gen.G, it is now do or die. Betting it all on Chovy's rise, on Ruler's Zaya, Peanuts Viego, Doran's Renekton. This is high-stakes League of Legends.
Gen.G haven't really been in a position like this for a very long time where they're down in a series. You talked about Braum level 1. DRX agree. Double AD carry with a Braum. If a Q hits, they're as good as dead. Peanut, what is he going to do? He's going to run around here. He could wrap towards the enemy blue. This would be really smart, actually. What he's going to do is do the switcheroo, run to the enemy blue buff, take that while they're on his red. A bit of smoke and mirrors here by Peanuts. Really smart decision-making to just run to the enemy jungle and do the exact same thing to Pyosik. They don't actually have a ward on the entrance, so DRX have no clue that this is happening. And as Pyosik clears out these bot camps, he'll think to go towards his own red buff, so we'll see what he covers. He could full clear bot side and keep a split map, or he can move towards the top side and keep his own red buff alive. But DRX don't have information right now. They think Peanut's top side. Peanut could look for a great gank on bot lane in the next minute.
And how much is Peanut willing to gamble here? He has the creative pathing, he's taken away the blue. Once that gets spotted out, they'll know that Peanut is on bot side, but until they see that blue buff taken, they will have no idea for sure where Peanut is. Because he's going to Wolves, he still doesn't know, but Peanut, he knows it is do or die. He does not want to flip it on a bot side play. Instead, opting to recall, opting to reset to take the small advantage.
Smart there by Peanut, just take a base. Get out of there as quickly as possible. If you get collapsed on, you're dead. No red buff, Kindred will chase you down, Braum will run across. And he trades 2 camps for 2. Red Raptors for blue Grom. Pyosik still has no idea that that's gone, I believe. Just does Wolves in the top side. So Peanut will get level 3 off Krugs, and Zeka will get these mid waves in.
Pushing, of course, Galio early on can be very frustrating to deal with as we get later into the game. Chovy going to be able to run circles around him. It'll be more about the big taunts, the big engages in the fights for the Galio. Meanwhile, on the top side, as expected, Renekton coming out on top early on. And Pyosik potentially going to show his face here in the top lane. A lot of good setup for him, the Mounting Dread. Going to make short work of that Renekton if they can make the play happen.
Good idea there from Pyosik. Do Krugs into red, keep red buff up as long as possible. Now Peanut is behind Ruler and Lehens. Sweeper there to get out a little bit of vision. I think they're just here to cover, to get the wave in. Maybe they feel threatened by a Kindred gank because of the split map. But the crab is up, and they're going to deny the mark. They're going to deny the stack, and Pyosik still yet to do his red buff. I think Doran here can take top crab as well, so there will be no crab for Pyosik to pick up, and Peanut will look towards mid here. Zeka hasn't crashed the wave just yet. They're going to set up onto the mid laner. Nothing to do there, though.
Peanut showing his face a lot, just trying to create pressure in the lanes, but in the meantime, Pyosik is just farming up, already at a 1-camp lead, 2-camp lead, rather. One of those CS going awry, and should just leap over the wall here, but will be spotted out by the Scuttle Crab. Crucial that Doran's able to move down and take that one.
Oh, this timing from Doran. Doesn't spot out Pyosik. Puts a ward on the blue buff, though.
Where's Peanut going to go?
He's going to start it up.
That ward is so important.
No smite. That ward from Pyosik will spot Peanut as he moves. Chovy has mid-push, but he's extremely low on mana, and Kingen is fighting Doran right now to make this an isolated 1v1. Pyosik doesn't have the smite, though, so he doesn't have the confidence to pull it out and try to finish. Pyosik thinks Peanut doesn't know he's there, but he actually does. That's why Chovy's making sure he's around. Doran hasn't come down just yet. 2v1 in favor of DRX as of...
Waiting on the smite.
Yeah, smite's coming up. He's got it.
Pyosik just going to take this one away. Great use of the lanes there. The side of DRX, Kingen opting for a trade. Zeka taking advantage of the fact that Chovy is out of mana. Has to use that burn through that mana bar to get pressure in this lane, and Peanut is really the one suffering here.
Peanut doesn't know where Pyosik is still. There's a ward on topside river. There's a ward on the Scuttle, of course, as well. But Pyosik is based in fog, so he's still unsure where Pyosik is. So was a bit hesitant to start this one up. But I think given the amount of time that he's spent not seeing him, he can assume that Pyosik is backed away and moved towards his bot side camps, which have respawned. That Gromp's actually level 2, so that helps him out a little bit. Barrow looking for Lehens here. Testing bot waves.
Lehens just fishing for that hook onto depth, hoping for that opportunity. Be a bit of a trade back and forth. The Winter's Bite will not connect, but Pyosik now showing his face once again on the bottom side of the map. I think maybe hoping to catch a respawn here on one of the camps instead. Level 4, but happy to solo the dragon.
See, if their bot lane can move. I think Gen.G have the bot push, so he's sneaking this one under their nose. DRX are actually holding the way. Beryl's playing bodyguard here. What he's doing is stopping Lehens from getting into the river despite not having push. He's just body blocking the enemy supports from being able to check or get information. Needs to be careful though, because Peanut is behind Gen.G's bot lane. A hook could mean a flash could be a follow-up.
Is also super low at this stage. They're starting to trade, they're getting aggressive. Beryl needs to get out of this one. Unbreakable already burned, Ignite now ticking, but Beryl will walk away safe. In the meantime, Pyosik just trying to take the dragon. It's getting lower, it's taking Peanut waiting over the wall. Can they finish it? But yes, just barely they will find it. Now body blocking, stepping forward, Zeka. The bouncer at the door, making sure Chovy will not find first blood.
And Chovy flashes there to try to get the EW, but Pyosik dashes over the wall to drop vision. That means that Chovy cannot land that. It would be ideal if Chovy can get the root, because then Peanut can flash stun. But Pyosik was having none of it. Very risky, I have to say, from Pyosik. Took him so long to get that down. Doran levels up to 6, he should be all right. But he almost died and lost the dragon there. That would have been such a big waste of time for the Kindred.
But the absolute confidence, again, that Pyosik is playing with right now, incredible to watch. Outmaneuvering a little bit here in the early game as well as sneaking away. Of course, it does cost Beryl his flash. DRX, bot lane, very aware of what they needed to commit. Trying to make sure that dragon would go down uncontested. Right now, big advantage on the bottom side, 46 to 61. Ruler's gonna make up most of that, but it will still be a small edge to Deft. Zeka returns to the mid lane and keeps the pressure on.
Herald's up very, very soon in the next minute, and DRX needs to establish some kind of topside control. They don't want Gen.G to get that Herald to get the ball rolling. Chovy's got the spellbook, so he swapped this flash over to Cleanse. He'll need that against Galio Braum in the next fight, so I expect Gen.G to contest it as well. Doran's had the top push the majority of this game, but Kingan's very happy on this. Gragas will just be a massive meatball for his team, disrupt the fights with the ultimate. And he's slowly stacking this wave, I think, because of the Herald spawn, but Pyosik's taking a base, and Gen.G have the majority of their pinks on the bot side of the map. You can see that kind of line from their entrance to the bot side brush. And it's just a question of which bot lane moves first.
Absolutely is. One of the nice things about Xayah, obviously, she can match that wave clear when she's given access to the wave. Those feathers, the pullback, giving you so much control. Lehens level 6 around the corner. Hook now going to connect. They're trying to knock down Beryl. Going to get the root, but Beryl, the unbreakable, living up to its name. He will not fall, but a good health trade means that Gen.G access to the river, as you highlighted, Cadril, can take control before the next dragon spawns.
Gonna move towards mid here because Chovy's basing without TP. That pink ward might spot them if they look for Zeka, and they're just here to catch the wave, but we'll see what DRX does to respond, because I think Peanut's gonna start that Herald up. Pyosik is on the way, Deft is still bot lane. He doesn't actually start it yet, no he did, so he's pulling it out. Pyosik's around, Deft's moving up, but Gen.G have all the vision to know exactly where DRX are. They're engaged, a little bit lackluster, they need to hit a hook. Beryl could be close to 6, as well as Lehens on this mid wave. They're going to contest it.
But remember, this is the top side power that Gen.G drafted for. Fishing for that stun now. You can see Viego in the bush, Peanut in the bush, waiting. Reset here big, though. Now Lehens looking for the engage, trying to find the lockdown. Locked out Beryl, unbreakable, but now should surely fall. But here comes Zeka and the rest of the team. They're going to lock out. They're going to find first blood. Beryl still alive on the backside. The Lamb's respite. Buying so much time. Gen.G knows that they need to get something back, but Deft is unafraid. Deft is still free firing at the pullback from Ruler. It's clean, but it's not quite enough to finish the job as Zeka dives into the back line. Still standing for now, but surely he should fall. And everybody is so low. Oh no! Are they still alive? But the feathers fly. Ruler finds one, wishes for 2, tries to find another. Beryl will finally fall, and Gen.G fire back.
Such a back and forth fight. It turns into a 2 for 2. I believe Lehens falling very, very early on in that fight, but he's back towards this Herald. Gen.G will start it up. Pyosik's move towards the bot side to pick up his mark on the crab, so they will lose this objective. Very messy there. Doran didn't get his combo off. I think his flash didn't close enough distance to be able to get onto the back line of DRX. We'll see this again. So Lehens just hooks. He gets a little bit of vision knowing that someone's in that bush from Chovy. Goes onto Beryl, but Pyosik doesn't panic and use the Lamb's Respite. He just focuses down the Nautilus. As he dies, he ults for Beryl to get the heal. Zeka zones away Ruler. The ultimate from Deft is good, but let's watch Doran there. I think he tried to flash stun, but he didn't get it onto Pyosik. His model didn't move. Could be a spectator bug. And then Ruler is the one who turns this, gets Beryl low. Peanut chunks them out. DRX tried to fight back, but Ruler stays alive.
The last second root from Deft's ulti there, catching out the Renekton, catching out Doran, stopping him from getting more look at the blinking health bars. The unbreakable from Beryl. He should have died in the first exchange. He dies in the end, but he keeps his team standing. Excellent back and forth, but finally a bit of good news for the side of Gen.G. Their top side 1-0-1. The damage, though, all about Ruler.
World champion AD carry showing why he is such. 30 seconds on the Dragon. DRX have kept on relying on this Soul to be their main win condition this entire series long. Gen.G have struggled to find Dragons past the mid game. A couple of early ones, but Zeka will look for the plate, has the Predator. Pyosik taking a base will move towards this bot side. We're gonna get another fight around this Dragon. You can see on your screen there at the bottom side, Doran is just giving up top waves. He doesn't have TP, he needs to be here in time for this fight, so DRX will probably have to give this one up. We'll see what they can get in response. Kingen will be way too late, and Pyosik as well, but he's gonna try his best to get down there by the looks of it. They're gonna start it up though.
Gen.G, big barrel again. Getting hit with the hook is big. Unbreakable gonna buy a few more seconds. He needs to leap back into the arms of Pyosik. Now the retreat coming out. The hook coming in from over the wall. Big ulti coming in from Deft. And that's the pick now on the backside. Kingen looking for the avenue, looking for the entrance, but the side steps are clean from Gen.G. They will not let that cast connect, but it's Pyosik back onto the Dragon. Pyosik with priority access, the pick. Giving the Dragon over to DRX.
That's the power of the Braum. You hook in, you're not getting out. You get locked up, you get stunned, you get knocked up, and all of the damage that you try to do on that hook just gets blocked by the Braum. So, really good pick up there by Beryl from the draft. Trying to get this wave in, gets the stack on the cannon, gets the kill, and gets the Dragon. Ocean Soul this time around, but DRX already halfway there.
Certainly are. Pyosik waiting in the darkness. Zeka trying to look to lock him down. Goes golden, waiting out the taunt. It's clean from Chovy, but how will he escape? The Ghost now coming out, retreating to safety. Forced to flash, burn both sums just to make it out of the gank.
Rice and Chovy gonna be in a very tough spot to contest these mid waves. Pyosik doing work around the map. If you'd have told me 2 months ago Pyosik would be one game from a World's Finals, I would think you're a madman. I think you're crazy. But this series, he's been outperforming Peanuts, one of the best junglers in the LCK, and he might find another kill here. Doran, no flash, gets knocked, but he'd slice and dice his way away, but that's another mark for the Kindred, sitting at 3 in 12 minutes.
And again, this is the story of DRX. They were not the team that was supposed to make it out of LCK. A lot of people had Sandbox, no matter who you had. See now, though, Deft can survive the dive here. Stepping forward, charge gonna come in. They'll get a few plates, but not a lot else. DRX constantly surviving, constantly evolving to push further and further into this tournament, but Gen.G are the first seed in the LCK for a reason. You saw in the last fight how much damage Ruler did with 0 items under his belt. Have to respect the potential as we get later into this game.
And you just touched on it a little bit earlier on. I'll save that for now as we watch this replay. Hook hits, shield comes up, stun lands from your double AD carry. On top of the Varus ult, you have nowhere to go. Knock up as well from the Braum. Chain CC is too much for Lehends, and he falls. DRX get the Dragon. But you just talked about it. A lot of people thought Sandbox would be the 4th seed from the LCK. Prince was having a fantastic split, and their mid-jungle was finding so much success on things like Ahri and Vi, but DRX overcame them despite losing in the first round of playoffs to them. They overcame KT, and they've overcome everything. Worlds is where miracles happen, and we can see that right now from DRX. I've never seen a player like Zeka have such an incredible upwards trajectory in a space of 1 or 2 months.
Has to be the most meteoric rise in history for any individual player. To go from middle of the pack to potentially the best, fighting for that opportunity now. Chovy holding on the taunt, now coming in, Kingen ready to go in over the wall. Chovy, goodbye! You don't gotta stopwatch anymore. Peanut now running, doing what he can to escape, to survive, but DRX are descending upon Gen.G like wolves.
Look at them go, and they're not done just yet. Kingen's trying to find Peanuts. Doran's hitting the top tower. He'll pick up the first turret of the game. Pyosik is around. Beryl is moving up. Deft's pushing out bot. We'll see if they take this fight. We'll see if they try to take down the Renekton.
Looking to burn down Doran. Doran popping the ulti, the burst if he can turn here, but he's running out of fury. The Kolomik not going to connect. Looking to finish the job with the mounting dread, but just forcing the flash. And again, DRX finding advantage after advantage. The gold within touching distance, but 2 Drakes already to their name.
Pyosik's turned from a liability to a powerhouse jungler. Him and Beryl are running the map right now. Q-Flash misses from Beryl onto Chovy, but new kid on the block. Zeka lands the taunt, and they get the kill onto the mid laner of Gen.G. The dive works. Peanut gets out, but DRX got what they came for. It's the kill onto Chovy with no flash that they forced earlier on.
Yep. Getting everything in that exchange. And you know Chovy's kicking himself because maybe he could have just flashed on the earlier play, kept the stopwatch, or vice versa, but burned everything and so had nothing left to defend himself. Flash just around the corner. will be able to survive the next play, but DRX already setting up a chokehold on the top side of the map, ready for the next Herald.
It's a checklist here for DRX. Push out lanes, make sure you cover, set down vision, push out the next wave, then look for the setup in denying their face checks. But it's a bit of an awkward spot right now because with 45 seconds on the Dragon, I believe Herald is spawning soon as well, and both these teams want to crack open that mid-tier 1. So DRX look like they're posturing on the top side. They want to get this Herald first. The first objective to spawn. Zeka has the ultimate, no TP. Chovy has the Realm Warp, no TP. Double global on the mid laners. They can join this fight at an instant. Pyosik doesn't want to stay in that pit for too long. DRX don't have any point and click engage without the Gragas flash, but they have a lot of threat. That means Gen.G cannot be the ones to engage. The hook cannot connect because there's no stopwatch, and Beryl will turn the fight with the Unbreakable. Chovy's here. Zeka's here. DRX have started up the Herald.
DRX go back so incredibly well. Beryl holding on to all of his cooldowns, knowing if he burns the Unbreakable too soon, it could mean the end of the fight. The Herald being contested. 4 members of Gen.G in the area. Now 5 as Chovy descends. Zeka ready with the ultimate to respond. The hook going to connect, but will not catch Kingen over the wall. Herald now being taken out, knocked down by DRX. Gen.G walking away empty-handed, but here comes Zeka. Just fishing for a bit of poke, hoping to maybe burn a summoner spell. Walking away, knowing that they got what they came for.
Gen.G are first to this Dragon, though. Sole point for DRX. They do not want to give this one up. No ultimates used on either side. Kingen using the wall on the hook. Beryl face check. Finds Doran.
Again, the second the concussive blows have marked you, it is so hard for you to dive into the backline. There's a Braum, there is a Kindred. You need so much time to burn down DRX.
So much pressure on both these teams fighting for a Worlds final. DRX are going to start it up. Chovy a little bit split, has the Realm Warp if he wants to rejoin his team. Lehens and Peanut together as a jungle support, looking for a hook onto Beryl. He has no flash, but he has the Unbreakable. There's the Realm Warp, but he doesn't choose to take it. He wants to sandwich the rest of DRX with Doran on the flank.
Over the wall. Hook now going in under the Braum. Zeka onto the flank, fishing for the angle. Will lock up Ruler. Ruler immediately going to cleanse. Now the fog coming in for the Braum. Ruler on touch of the backside. Keep your eyes on the feather. They could just be everything. That's going to be the shutdown. Doran leaping forward. Ruler untouched. Now Gen.G, they see their opportunity. Peanut stepping forward, peeling back now. Beryl and Deft, the last 2 standing. Kingen off to the side, but it is Gen.G taking the fight.
Peanut takes down Pyosik, picks up the Spirit Form, and then shuts down DRX. The engage from Zeka was good onto Lehens, but the follow-up of the solo laners of Gen.G and Peanut isn't enough to stop the soul point and stop DRX in their tracks of finding themselves towards a Worlds final.
And again, you talked about the pressure in that fight, but Gen.G pulled off, they execute. Now trying to keep the pressure up, that bot lane tower so low. To be able to take it soon, and again, denying soul point, buying themselves more time to get items under the belt of their carries.
And this fight would turn on its head if Pyosik could get the ultimate off. Lehens dies. This flank from Zeka are really good in forcing the bot lane of Gen.G back. Kingen's marking Chovy, but watch Peanut and Doran here. They find Pyosik, they get the shutdown onto him. He cannot use the Lamb's Respite. If he could, they would have turned this fight, but the reset there for Peanut picks up the soul, pushes DRX's bot lane back to allow Chovy and the rest of Gen.G to take down Zeka.
And this is the level of decisiveness we needed to see from Gen.G if they wanted to bring us to a game 5. They cannot hesitate on these cooldowns against this Braum or against this Kindred. And now they fish for the dive. Kingen trying to buy as much space as he can. The tower surely set to fall. Chovy now chasing, running. This Gragas, there's no way you can make it out of this one. Locked up, the CC coming through. Kingen will fall. Doran on a killing spree.
Herald placed in mid. DRX are playing on 2 lanes here. They'll look for mid tier 1 and top tier 1. Gen.G, great pick there onto the Gragas. They get the tower. DRX quick to respond in terms of trading these objectives. Zeka should get this top tower. Chunk onto mid. And that's the power of the Herald. It gives you a tempo cheat. You know, if you don't have a push in the lane or you're not confident enough to siege because they have wave clear, it's a cheat button to make sure that you can answer a cross map just like that from the side of Gen.G. Good kill though. And Doran on this Renekton sitting at 3-0 and 2. Incredibly strong in this mid game.
And look at the gold within touching distance as we crest 20 minutes.
Oh, Lehens
caught out. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the concussive blow stack. Zeka waiting off to the side. The support surely going to fall. The Ruler has to be watched, has to be respected. Oh, Doran. Chovy on the front line. They put them into the meat grinder. Taking them out one at a time. DRX overstepping their welcome in the enemy jungle.
That's the second time the Renekton stun is stopping Pyosik from getting the Lamb's Respite. Gen.G's win condition in these fights is very clear. Get on top of the Kindred, lock him down before he can get the ult, and then play the fight out from there onwards. Lehens is going to be the one to tank all the damage and probably fall in the fight. But allowing them to move forwards with the Lamb's Respite down is what's helping Gen.G win these fights. And DRX didn't even have the damage to take down the support. of Gen.G in a 3v1. Zeka was a little bit far away. Piosik couldn't get his full combo off, manages to get the E damage out. Beryl blocks out Ruler, but it's the stun again with the ult Fury. Piosik can't do anything. He might need a QSS this game or some kind of Mikhails.
And we very much see the role reversal from the previous game, where it was Ruler and Chovy trying to dish out all the damage to carry the team. This time around it is Deft and Piosik, and if you cut that Kindred down, all of the damage falls with it. Yes, Zeka is building AP. Yes, he has a bit of burst, but it is not enough against so much sustain on the opposite side. Divine Sunder, the Renekton healing. It's hard to match. For DRX, the execution has to be clean from this point out because Gen.G have fought back. They've gotten out of the deficit. They have the lead, and their characters are stronger in the skirmish.
They are 1 minute 40 seconds on the Dragon. Baron's up. Gen.G have much better options in rushing down the Baron this time. Before they had Sylas and Varus, not so good on the rush, but Ryze and Xayah are. You can use the Ryze ult, push in mid-waves to tier 1s or tier 2s, ult towards the Baron as 4 or 5, buy yourselves an extra 5 to 10 seconds to rush it down. Alternatively, you can use it for a turn. We'll see what Gen.G opts into, but right now it's all about bot side control, saving Chovy, making sure he can push out these waves, making sure he's safe for when the Dragon spawns in a minute's time to rush that one down, slowly stack up these Dragons. Very even game right now. Slight gold lead to Gen.G, but DRX have that extra Dragon in their back pocket.
And again, credit to Gen.G, keeping the mental up. Even after a difficult early game in this one, they fought back here in the mid game, keep it within touching distance.
Ruler building towards 3 items. Will be the late game insurance for Gen.G. Doran will get them through the mid game. Chovy and Ruler will get them through the late game. Set up in their favor. DRX, not enough vision to walk into this river just yet. They need to see resets. They need to see champions on waves. Atlanta supporting DRX right now. Supporting Deft and his mission. His long, long mission to get to that Worlds final.
And it's good to hear, even in the face of a team that was called by so many, myself included, the favorites for this series in Gen.G, the crowd still willing to rally behind names like DRX. You can understand why after the previous games, but here in the mid lane, Ruler trying to take control. Second item now completed for Deft, ready to fight back a bit more in this fight, but again, it's all sustained damage. They don't have the immediate reliable burst, and it's Gen.G moving in uncontested to take their second Dragon of the game.
DRX don't have the vision to fight this, do they? They're just going to give it up. No real harm done. Evening up the Dragons. They need more time for Deft to pick up a third item. They need more time to set up. Lehens has the flash, has to use it against the Chains of Corruption from Deft.
Bit of poke coming in the mid lane. Gen.G posturing, 4 members, 5 members coming into the area, just in case DRX try anything tricky around the Baron. You know, you can feel the tension.
Yeah.
For Gen.G, it's all an elimination match every fight. Any misstep could be their last in the tournament. DRX rallying, holding on, fishing for these farm and opportunities to just scale more into the game.
Zeka forces Doran back. One mistake could cost you everything. For Gen.G, it could cost them a World Championship final. For DRX, it could...
What? Oh.
Chovy, did he just...
Yep.
Did he panic, or did he have smite on a spellbook or something?
I think Fat Finger on the flash, potentially. It is hard to say without watching the replay, but potentially a sign of nerves setting in. We look at Chovy so often as this player who is mechanical, methodical, almost robotic in the precision that he plays League of Legends with, but he talked about it in some of the videos. It's not that he's not afraid. He overcomes it to perform at the level he does, and you have to wonder if this pressure, this insurmountable, seemingly endless amount of pressure on this stage in front of a crowd that's so ready to cheer for DRX is getting to him as we get later and later into this series.
Yeah, it's hard to know, but it looks like it is. Down in CS a little bit right now, down a level, lost his flash, so DRX know that, and they're going to try to capitalize on it. Vision war continues around this top side for Baron. Both of these teams paying a lot of respect, don't want to overextend, want to make sure that they're taking high probability plays, but they can take a risk. DRX have good Baron rush. Gen.G similarly. Just need to get the vision out. They need to push the opposing team back and then force them to come into you, that one ward. Giving a lot of information over to Gen.G right now. What's the play? Peanut giving information to Lehens. Doesn't have flash. Push in from Doran on the bot side. 2 levels up onto King, and who has to group with his team. Push in the next wave. Has the TP.
Kingen missing out on CS just to be around for that play. Does have the TP, as does Doran. But gonna give up a lot of CS and a lot of damage on that bot lane tier 2 tower. Just to posture, just to fish for a potential opportunity. And Doran really a monster in this game, 3-0-3. Last game was very difficult for the team overall, but he is showing up on this Renekton.
Yeah.
Really prioritizing his pieces and his key to success instead of the bot lane has now paid off for Gen.G.
And he will have Guardian Angel in the next base, you have to imagine. Will be a real pain for DRX to get down. They have the AD carries to kite back and deal a lot of damage, but if he can find that stun onto Pyosik again, Gen.G will win the fight. Pyosik
off the wall, Barrow to follow, immediately fishing for the opportunity, but he's still gonna get locked on the flash forward. Barrow and Pyosik, the dynamic duo. Support and jungle now turn their sights on the Baron.
That is the window they've been waiting for. The jungle support strikes. The Baron is up. TP in from Doran. They haven't started it yet. They're baiting it. Realm Warp for Vision. DRX don't even start up the objective. They get a TP, they get an ultimate, they get a pick. Zeka knows Doran's up here.
But you know the pressure on them because the second he went down, Doran immediately TP'd. They can't afford to misstep. You see the pressure time and time again, but it is Zeka zoning, looking for an opportunity, trying to lock down the Renekton. Pyosik coming over the wall, ready to deal the damage. Concussive blows have marked him. Ignite has marked him, and there is no one here to protect him. It is Doran versus the world. It is Doran versus DRX, and DRX come out on top.
And they're capitalizing on Gen.G's mistakes. Peanut disrespecting topside vision. Doran TPing up there a little bit too early. Is now the time to start the Baron, I wonder. 2 items on death. Doran 30 seconds, no TP. Ward in the pit though, no pink down from DRX, so Gen.G have all the information they need. Ultimate coming up from Peanut soon. Zeka doesn't have the Predator up just yet, but he wants to zone them away. Don't forget about the Kindred ult, they could bait it once again.
Looking for that opportunity, locking Peanut out of the pit. It's getting lower and lower, there's no jungle, and it does not matter. That is the Baron for DRX. Peanut now has to run unstoppable on the retreat, but DRX have got what they came for. Zeka zoning, DRX eyes on the prize, they will take the objective.
And they are so close to booking their ticket to the World's Final. 2 picks, a Baron, 30 seconds on this next dragon to put them on soul point. All of DRX take a base. They run down towards this bot side river. Gen.G need to respond. Chovy swapped over to the smite. This could be their last stand.
And the gold, dead even. This game, skill versus skill. It is not about snowballing. It is not about beating the opposition with your wallet. Outplaying and outmaneuvering. Catching Peanut, taking the objective, setting their sights now on the dragon. And it looks like Gen.G know that this is not their time to fight. Giving soul point away to DRX, knowing they cannot afford to take this. Peanut perhaps can fish for the steal, but instead happy to just go back to his own safety of the jungle.
It's Ruler. Ruler versus the world now for Gen.G when he gets that Infinity Edge. 2 levels up on depth. Despite these picks, I think Gen.G's team fight is still incredibly strong. DRX need to respect it. They're playing 1-4 right now. Kingen doesn't have TP, but neither does Doran. Ruler is showing on mid to catch the waves. When he gets that Infinity Edge, he will melt through the front line of DRX. But as of now, with this Baron buff, that's 1 tower. Can they find more?
Doing so well to mark the flanks on the side of DRX, pushing forward, and this is such a hard situation for Gen.G to fight. They have to be fully confident when they pull the trigger. Again, a single misstep can cost them everything. In the mid lane, Kingen pushing in already, trying to get more gold out of this Baron buff. Already plus 2K on the Red Bull Baron power play. Looking for a bit more. This tier 2 surely will fall. The rest of his team now on the bottom side, playing across 2 lanes. Doing what they can with their range advantage, but respecting the potential for Gen.G to pull the trigger here in bot lane.
DRX keeping up the siege, proving absolutely everyone wrong. Looking for this bot tier 2, looking for the win. With this Baron buff, 45 seconds left. They got the mid tier 2, they got the bot tier 1. Realm Warp from Chovy after clearing mid waves to help defend.
Will they commit for the fight? Lahen's ulti, the big sources of CC, where will they go? Deft ready to disengage at a moment's notice. The taunt waiting in the darkness in the brush. DRX, confident, it is slow, it is steady, it is methodical.
They're gonna keep up the pressure. 3 minutes, 20 seconds away from that soul. They wanna keep Gen.G in their base. They're gonna have to base soon though, because they have a lot of gold to spend. Watch Kingen's ult, he might be looking at it from over the wall. There's the ult.
Lock up, now trying to take out Doran. Doran, how much more time does he have? Follow-up block up is going to hit Lands. It might hit Ruler as well. They're trying to lock down everybody. Chovy being pushed away. It will be the tier 2 falling. Gen.G no better than to commit on that one. The recall's immediately coming out. DRX got what they came for.
Good macro and good patience from DRX. They didn't disrespect Gen.G, overforce any kind of dives. They don't want to make any mistakes with the lead they've been given. And now they're ahead up against Gen.G, who were stronger in the mid-game with this Renekton, but all those picks and that Baron have put them in the lead now. Zeka is ahead of Chovy. Ruler, though, has picked up the Infinity Edge. Ruler is the one who needs to stand his ground and carry Gen.G to this Game 5.
So much pressure on a single player. But if it had to go on anyone, you'd want it on the man who's lifted the trophy before, on the world champion. Ruler, no doubt, the most consistent. He did it in Game 5. The Lucian, the Quadra in the face of Damwon. Can he bring Gen.G to a Game 5 here?
2 minutes on the Dragon, and there will be a moment to take a breath until that spawns. Neither team will look for anything else. There's no objectives to play for, there's no towers to siege down. There's only waves to catch, and 2 minutes to discuss how you're gonna fight this. Gen.G gonna give some respect to DRX as they get the waves in and push into their jungle to get some vision. Chovy being very conscious not to get caught out on top wave. He's gonna join his team and wait for the waves to crash so he can catch them. And 1 minute 40 seconds left. I think DRX will have the setup, of course. It's just whether Gen.G can find a way in, an avenue. Through mid it looks hard, but through bots with Doran's push, that might be their way to fight the Dragon.
Keep your eyes on the vision. Flanking wards and teleports, perhaps the avenue to get into the back line of DRX, to do what they did twice already this game and delete Pyosik instantly in the fight. Ruler only getting stronger. Similar story for Pyosik. 3 items for both of the respective AD threats on the side of DRX. And I love this from Zeka. No tanky items, here for full damage. That combo, ready to take Ruler out at a moment's notice if he missteps.
Waves being pushed in, Chovy taking his final base before what you expect to be the last team fight of the game. But there is one play that DRX could do to catch Gen.G off guard, and looking at their vision, they might look for it. They could bait a Dragon start, then they could all go towards the Nash and actually force that as Gen.G tried to deny that soul. Luckily for Gen.G, they have the Realm Warp, they have the Rise ult to keep up with that kind of pace and that decision-making. Chovy swapping over to the heal. Gen.G need to get mid-waves in so they can get information to work with 30 seconds left. Deft coming out of base. Pyosik and Zeka coming down towards mid. Both teams want to get mid-wave in. Peanut face checking.
Stepping in, this is risky. Peanut goes unstoppable. The mark's already hitting him, but he will retreat. That's lots of summoners already burned. The heal now coming out. Chovy taking that one out. DRX looking to fight their way in. And you can tell the pressure, the arena. So quiet as every single person in here waits on the edge of their seat for this moment. Could be the defining moment of the game. 10 seconds left till the soul will spawn.
Deft is farming Raptors. They're going to go onto mid-wave here. DRX are going to go through mid. Gen.G are going to go through bot. Crab over to Peanuts. Movement speed in the fight might help them out a little bit. No flanks just yet. Chovy could ult Lehens behind them or something along those lines, but it's very dangerous. This is it. This will decide everything. Deft looking for the Dragon. Pyosik has the smite, has the Lamb's Respite if he needs it.
Battle lines drawn. Either side looking to hit the Dragon, either side looking to risk the 50-50. Why flip the coin on your future here at Worlds 2022? Taking their time now, arrows being charged up, poke being traded back and forth. All it takes is a single misstep, a single mistake, and either side will leap into the enemy backline. 6K getting lower. DRX think this is their opportunity. Barrel looking for the knockup, and he drives it! And it's the soul! And it will be a slaughter in the pit! Pyosik and Deft back to back as brothers, slaughtering the front line and the back line of Gen.G. It is Ruler versus the world, but the Gale Force will not be enough. He's dead! Keegan's gonna get the kill! No, Ruler turns it around! He gets Keegan! He gets Barrel! He falls! It's 3 members of DRX left! Chovy has respawned! I'm not sure if they have enough to look for the full end. Chovy's gonna have to clear the wave. DRX 3v1, can they take the win? Chovy versus the world. A heroic effort from Ruler to buy time, to buy space, to give an opportunity to hold on and fight again. But the odds only stack more and more in the favor of DRX. They have taken the soul. They will take the Baron. Gen.G on their last legs need to find a way back. What a fight from DRX. Barrel buying time for Pyosik nets them such powerful buffs
to look for the win. They're waiting on the respawns of Beryl and Kingen to make sure everybody has a piece of the Baron buff. And with 5 members strong, the siege is inbound. 1 minute to set up, but look at this from Beryl. Just goes straight forwards, tells his team to finish it, just drops the ultimate. Look at that. Splits them up so much. Then watch Kingen's ult as well. Just splits everything. No front to back whatsoever. Piosik gets the dragon. Flashes away from Doran, who was looking for the stun. And then the double AD carry turns.
The knockback into the taunt of Galio. It is clean team play and execution. And while Gen.G do what they can to fight back, while Ruler does what he can to fight back, all he does is delay. Cannot find a greater victory. It is still clean play and a pleasure to watch, but not enough for Gen.G to turn this one.
And Beryl gets the last laugh as he kills the world champion and takes him down for the full ace. Frustration on the side of Gen.G, elation on the side of DRX. I don't even think the coaching staff can believe what they're seeing right now. They're watching their team climb from a losing in playoffs round 1 of the LCK to Sandbox to almost pushing their ticket to the World's Final.
Beryl looking for Ruler! It could just be everything. He's forcing it out now, buying as much time as they can with the Lamb Dress, but if they want to keep this fight going, DRX do not want a slow game. They find their pick. They find the angle. Doran spotted out. He will not be able to TP back to help the rest of the team. The siege begins for DRX.
Zeka doesn't have the TP. He's trying to gap close as much as possible to be ready with the Galio ult. There's the TP from Doran to help the wave clear. The Baron buffed up creeps are coming in. Gen.G are slowly holding on, but DRX will start to move forwards. They'll start to push them back. They'll start to look for a base break, and they'll get it. Inhibitor will fall. DRX put a dent already into Gen.G. The world champions from 2017, looking incredibly vulnerable right now. DRX looking for Nexus towers.
Beryl blocking what he can. A lot of damage under the Nexus towers. Zeka already breaking open mid lane. A second inhibitor surely will fall. Gen.G knowing that this next fight will be their last. Stepping back. Buying brief moments.
They're gonna force it.
They get it. Stepping in. The carries are so strong. Doran goes into the meat grinder, and he is taken out. It is domination for the team.
8 years ago, Death fell to his sister team in Samsung White, but today, in the face of insurmountable odds, he stands tall.
The last dance goes on. The stage is set. It is one final chapter. It is one more page in the legacy of Deft. He has one chance to kill the king, and today he did not miss.
And the king is waiting in the World Finals. Gen.G shell-shocked. And for one moment, the world stops spinning. The sun refuses to set on the dreams of Deft. In what could be his final year, he has one shot at a title, something he's never had in his entire career before.
DRX are limitless. Every time they have been doubted, they have stepped up. Your predictions against them, your doubt is there, Ambrosia. They are unstoppable. They are the first team to go from play-ins to finals. This is Deft's first final. It is the third for Beryl. Zeka on his wings, on his back, on his Akali or Silas. He has made his mark on this stage.
Keep doubting them, and they will only get stronger. Heartbreak for Ruler. What has been such a successful last 6 months of domestic domination comes to an end. We're left with 2 LCK teams in the finals, in T1 and DRX. Gen.G and Damwon are out. One final bow for this roster.
Still a hero's exit. Friends on both sides of the rift. For Gen.G, not the performance they were looking for, but again, for DRX, they just keep finding ways. They just keep rising up.
It's incredible. It is incredible. They've taken down the world champions from last year. They've taken down one of the most dominant teams in LCK history. Domestically unbeatable. They had come into this series having never beaten Gen.G once this entire year. They played 4 best-of-3s, and Gen.G 2-0'd them in every single one. But is it in the best-of-5 at the end of the year? In the World Semis, where they find their first 3 wins. And what a time to do it.
And that man on your screen, again, the most impressive turnaround we've seen. This is a guy you knew to be feast or famine, and it's been all feast today!
Doing some kindred jumps there with the arrows. His favorite champion. It's in the name.
Definitely left his mark. And it's just a story you cannot conceive of, you cannot write. If you told me that this was the path to finals for Deft and DRX, I would not have believed you. And the tragedy truly is that it is over the bodies of their brothers, of former teammates and friends, that they must move on to face T1.
And that's the story of Deft, isn't it? EDG, he departs. EDG become the world champions. He separates away from Chobi on Hanwha Life. Chobi lifts a trophy. Deft's always in the shadows of his former teammates, in a sense where it feels like he's the one being left behind. And now he's the one in the World Finals. And it's a similar story for Beryl. Leaving Damwon, seeing them rise above DRX, almost beating T1 domestically. And it's him who goes further. It's Damwon who loses in quarters. It's Beryl who goes to his 3rd World Finals. Doubt is what surrounds this team, and success is what is forged. It is one of the greatest stories I've ever seen in esports history.
It is the greatest story. Screw it. I'm saying it. It's the greatest story. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. We watched it happen, and I cannot believe it happened. DRX, again, continue to unlock new levels beyond and beyond and beyond everything we expect. And now,
That's it.
Deft versus Faker.
Will Faker get his 4th? Will Deft get his 1st? And will Deft retire? Is this his last year? Is this the last best of 5 we'll ever see from Deft? But it's been a very long road for both these teams. DRX coming from play-ins all the way here, and the date is set. The last dance is set next weekend.
Stunned, speechless, happy for Deft. It is unprecedented. This turnaround, this meteoric rise for Zeka and the entirety of DRX. I think we're all just waiting and excited, moments away now.